So about 10 years ago, I was sitting at my desk at work when this big puppy dog of an intern came bounding in and said, Dave, they're throwing away robot arms at school. Do you want one? Well, duh. But just as soon as I got it, I felt this big pressure to do something with it, do something cool. I didn't want it to become a boat anchor or wind up in a junkyard, and I latched onto this idea of turning it into a bartender. So I started digging through what I got, and it turns out that mechanically, the arm was in great shape. But the electronics were from a different era. And they didn't work. And I wasn't going to be able to fix them. So I threw them away, and I started building up my own circuits to talk to the motors, not just to turn them forward and backward, but to communicate with the encoders that would tell me where, what the position of each joint was. And I put all of those circuits together, and I made a circuit board. And it almost worked. I'm a mechanical engineer, not an electrical engineer, and so after a bunch of frustration and trying things out, I had to scrap that idea. And so I bought some off-the-shelf motor controllers. There's 6 of them, one for each of the motors in the arm. And with a power supply and some other electronics, I was able to talk to each of the motors and make them turn. And that's when I brought in the big guns. This is my brother, Matt. He has a PhD in robotics. I could not have done this project without him. He helped me immensely. Specifically, he helped me write some software to do inverse kinematics, to translate from X, Y, and Z space into the joint angles. What was impossible for me was actually just a homework assignment for him in one of his graduate classes. So I built a bunch of software on top of the software that he made, and I did a lot of debugging. This is now stretched out over several years, leading up to the end of last year when I could finally control the arm. I could tell it where to go, and it actually went there. And for me, this is when it switched from a software problem to something that was a lot more fun. I'm a woodworker, and I had decided to make a custom veneered moon table to serve as the base for this bartender. You saw pictures of the arm. The 1980 industrial chic look left a lot to be desired, so I kind of went to town on a pretty ornate base. This is the tabletop. It's made from sapele veneer. That's a wood that's a lot like mahogany, and it has a brass inlay as well as stringing. Those are the white lines made from holly. I made bottle holders. These are custom-made pieces of rolled brass that have these 2 wood blocks that keep the bottles propped up off the table so the robot arm can just go in and scoop it up and pick it up. And as much fun as it was to do a bunch of stuff in my own shop, I also got to take advantage of friends with cool toys. My buddy Avi got a new CNC mill this year, and we put it to good use making these custom inlay blocks that are the base of the table. So this is the arm on top of the table. The electronics live inside, and the top is hinged so you can lift it up for easy access. And then there's 10 bottle holders that surround the arm. And I picked different alcohols and mixers to maximize the number of drinks that the arm can make. This is the menu. It lives underneath a piece of touch-sensitive glass, just like you would find in a touch screen, but instead of an LCD screen behind it, it's just a piece of paper. You can see the menu off to the right there. This is the arm making its very first drink. It made its debut at my birthday party earlier this year. Thank you. At that same party, I enlisted more help from friends to name the bartender. So there were a bunch of amazing submissions. R2DUI was a strong contender. Sir Mix-a-Bot won. So it is named Sir Mix-a-Bot, and I've really just been enjoying the whole process, the making, the sharing, and now it's really taken on a life of its own. It's gotten picked up by some tech blogs, and Sir Mix-a-Bot may be making an appearance on TV later this year. That is me. You can find me on Twitter at DSZ123, and you can also find me and Sir Mix-a-Bot down in the lobby during intermission. We'll be doing a demo. Thank you all very much.